It's finally coming up to the end of the year, and you know what that means? I finally have a clear-cut video schedule for a couple of weeks. And the first of this yearly tradition is one of my favorite series, the box office predictions videos. For those who aren't aware, these are the videos where I list the 10 movies that I think will do the best at the global box office next year, and I give estimates of their actual box office numbers, cause why not be wrong about multiple things?
You're not just wrong, you're stupid.
Here's my track record in the past, here's how I'm doing this year so far, although there are still some movies to come. So without further ado, let's get into which 10 movies I think will make the most money globally in 2023. Kicking off the list at number 10, I have Dune Part 2. $500 million. Dune 1 was a pretty big box office hit with $400 million worldwide, especially considering it's based in a considerably more niche franchise than a lot of other box office hits. This movie had a bit of that prestige blockbuster feel to it. It was a movie you kind of had to see in the cinema. 1, for the visuals, 2, because everyone was talking about it, and 3, for that slightly more smart blockbuster movie vibe, like a Christopher Nolan film where you can go, I don't just go see superhero movies, I also saw Dune. Anyway, off the back of the first film's success, and considering it ended on a cliffhanger, I think the sequel will outperform the first and just crack the top 10. Number 9 may surprise some, but I'm gonna say Barbie, $600 million. Every year there's some movie that you think would make okay money, but comes out of nowhere and becomes a cultural phenomenon. This year it was Top Gun Maverick, and I can just very easily see Barbie becoming that movie next year. It's already such a recognizable brand, but the twist this movie will put on it and the quality of the film that Greta Gerwig presumably will bring to it, I think is what will elevate this. That movie that catches everyone off guard is always a movie that's better than people expect, and word of mouth makes it catch fire. And I can see that happening here. Plus a great cast, and there's already tons of intrigue online from photos and set videos. I can see this one doing big numbers. At number 8 is the return of what was once one of the biggest franchises in the world, and now, well, I guess we'll see where it's at now. Indiana Jones 5, $800 million. This one's a bit of a gamble because in 2008, Indiana Jones 4 made lots of money, but 15 years after what was already kind of a last hurrah for the character, I don't know how popular this series still is in the public eye. Even for huge Indiana Jones fans like myself, there might be also some underlying concerns of, is this just gonna be like the last one, but even further away from what made the originals so good? But assuming the name recognizability will still be there for mainstream audiences, and if this takes an interesting new look at the character with James Mangold of Logan fame at the helm and gets positive word of mouth as a result, it could be a big hit. At 7, I have Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, $830 million. Goddamn, pick a longer title, Cruise. The Mission Impossible series has always been popular, but in recent years has seen a big resurgence based in part on the quality being pretty damn high and consistent, and also the marketability of Tom Cruise being an insane person and doing all of his own stunts. The incorporation of something of an overarching storyline without making these films painfully interconnected has also led to more people wanting to come back for the next one, I would assume. And with this being the beginning of this series' big finale, I think it'll do even better than the last one. Plus, as previously kind of touched on, we're in a bit of a Tom Cruise-assance right now. Quick reminder here that if you're enjoying this video, drop a like, subscribe, hit the bell button, and comment your top 10 list down below. Also after the video, check out my podcast, The Poorly Planned Podcast, fun movie TV talk. Alright, back to the video. Number 6 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, $850 million. I know it might be a little surprising that this one isn't higher, and sure, it could possibly cross the $1 billion mark depending on how things pan out, but I just think the Guardians franchise, while beloved, sits just around this slightly below billion number. It isn't Marvel's biggest property, and in this age where everything is connecting to a larger story and it seems this one might be a bit more self-contained, I can see it staying around this point. That being said, 850 is still nothing to sneeze at. It is the MCU, it is a well-established franchise with characters people do love. The Christmas special might get even more hype built up, and if James Gunn's track record is to be trusted, it'll be great, so it should still do well. Speaking of the MCU, number 5 is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, $920 million. Now I know this might seem weird after I just talked about the previous Guardians numbers, because Ant-Man's numbers are generally lower than those, but the key factor here is that this doesn't really feel like an Ant-Man movie from the marketing we've seen. It feels more like an MCU movie overall, integrating all these elements of the Phase 5 multiverse saga and seemingly giving some answers and a clearer look at this franchise's future. And while watching some of these things over the past few years, I've consistently said, I don't know if how specific these things are getting is going to alienate mainstream audiences. It apparently has not, because these properties like Loki and Multiverse of Madness and What If and No Way Home have been pretty hugely successful and popular. So I think that trend will continue here, and while a regular Ant-Man movie might be more in the $500-600 million range, a crazier Ant-Man movie about the multiverse with Kang in it, I can see going close to $1 billion. Maybe I'm crazy, but we'll see. And continuing the superhero trend, because why not, I've got at number 4 Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, $950 million. It will never not make me smile how Aquaman, of all characters, has the highest grossing DC movie of all time. He's earned it, after all the jokes he's taken over the years.
Go fuck another fish, asshole!
But the first Aquaman was ridiculous and fun and very universally appealing, a bit like a franchise we might be getting to later. The insane visuals and action and relatively simple story made for a film that worldwide was very accessible and popular. So now that we've had a whole first film with that character, for him to get established in pop culture and for the public to know that they had a pretty fun time watching that first film, I think the sequel, with promises of even more crazy ridiculousness, will be similarly popular. For the number 3 spot, I've gone for the Super Mario Bros. Movie, also $950 million. Some might think I'm putting this a bit high, but I think this movie is going to explode at the box office. You've got an extremely recognizable character and brand that every kid is going to want to see, that every parent will take their kid to see, and lots of nostalgic teens and adults who also love Nintendo and the Mario franchise will go see. On top of that, it's already got tons of buzz online. People were talking about it from just the casting news, but there was such an overwhelmingly positive response to the trailer, and the anticipation has just been building from there. Plus, there's usually at least one animated movie each year that does massive numbers, and yeah, next year I think it'll be Mario. In the runner-up spot, I've got the latest Disney live-action remake, The Little Mermaid, $1.2 billion. In a similar way to Mario, there's just such a wide appeal and recognizability here that is part of why these Disney live-action remakes have been so popular. There are so many people who love the original Little Mermaid movie. It's such an easy movie for most people in the general public to be like, hey, want to go see Little Mermaid? Because it's a story they know and love and are probably going to love again. Kids can go see it just as a new kids movie. Teens and adults can go see it for nostalgia. I mean, I'm sure you don't, but if you need any evidence of this formula working, look. It works. It's coming out at the start of the summer. It's one of Disney's most popular movies that they haven't done a live-action remake for yet. Like, the Jungle Book remake did huge numbers, and that movie is not as loved as The Little Mermaid. So yeah, all in all, over $1 billion for this one, I'm guessing. Now before we get to my number 1 choice, here are some other films that could crack the top 10 potentially next year. The Flash, if this actually comes out, a well-known property, integrating another well-known property. However, DC films can be a bit hit and miss, and Ezra Miller's press in the last year probably won't do this movie any favors. Oppenheimer. Nolan's original films often do quite well for films that aren't part of a big franchise, but not sure if it'll be enough to crack the top 10. The Marvels. This could definitely and probably will get in the top 10. I think maybe subconsciously I didn't want the whole list to be Marvel movies. But of all the MCU films next year, this one does seem to have the least hype around it. Still realistically probably will crack the top 10. What do I know? Transformers: Rise of Beasts. Recognizable franchise that usually brings in big box office success. The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This was a hugely successful franchise back in the day, but enthusiasm did start to fizzle out even back then, and I don't know how much hype there is for this series or even this genre anymore. Wonka. Similarly to Barbie, if it's great and connects with audiences, I could definitely see this becoming a cultural phenomenon in a surprising way. And Wish and Elemental. One Disney animated movie, one Pixar animated movie. They have a tendency to do well. But if they aren't super memorable, they can fall flat a bit. And given how little we know about them as of now, I've put them here in the honorable mentions. Could be big though. And number 1, the film that I think will make the most money in 2023. I hate to say it, because I'm starting to really not enjoy these movies that much these days, but I think it'll be Fast X, $1.4 billion. This one is pretty self-explanatory. It's Fast and Furious. You know what you're getting, and people seem to enjoy it enough to flock to these movies in droves. Now, the last film didn't do great by Fast and Furious standards, but if you look at that year overall, we were still coming out of COVID at that time, so I think by the time this rolls around, we're pretty much back to normal, box office speaking. They're just easy movies for pretty much anyone to go see. You know you're getting a dumb popcorn summer blockbuster, and this one does have a pretty great cast too. There is a possibility that the general public might be getting tired of the same Fast and Furious formula. There might be some franchise fatigue over Vin Diesel's family rants, but I think saying it'll make a ton of money is probably the safer bet, so that's why it's my number 1. So, those were the 10 films I think will make the most money in 2023. Do you agree or disagree with my list? Let me know all of your thoughts and your list down below in the comments. While you're at it, be sure to like this video, check out my Instagram and Twitter at BHL_Hudson, my TikTok at BHLHudson, my Letterboxd at RealBHLHudson, check out this podcast that I do with a friend of mine where we talk about movies, TV shows, a bunch of nonsense. It's called The Poorly Planned Podcast, and subscribe for more videos like the one you just watched. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.